Hello everyone and welcome back to SAFC Fan TV. Again for the opposition preview. This time Sunderland travelled down to the Alexandra Stadium, the home of Crewe Alexandra FC, to preview our game on Saturday at 3 o'clock kick-off, and I was joined by Crewe Alexandra fan and reporter Rhys Pountain. Rhys is going to give us a bit of insight into what we can expect from Crewe, and here's what he had to say.
Alright, I'm here, Rhys. Rhys, how are you getting on?
I'm doing alright, thanks, mate. How are you? You alright?
No, yeah, I'm really good, especially with the way things are going at Sunderland at the moment. So having a bit look at your results, he's off the back of a 2-0 win at home at Accrington Stanley. That's a really, really good result, I think, when you consider how well they've been doing this season. But your results seem to be up and down. He is quite inconsistent.
Yeah, I won't say on the results side of things, yes, you can say inconsistent. But of recent results, yes, they won. I watched the game last night. They won 2-0 over to Stanley. Now it should have been more at the end of the day, and that's what it's been all season, sort of thing. At Swindon the other day, they lost 2-1, and it's like it should have. I don't know what, it could have been 4 or 5 easily. And the ones like throughout the season that have stood out are the likes of Ipswich away, battered them all game and lose 1-0. So it's that cutting edge, I think, in the final third that they're sort of lacking. They have it there, but it's the final sort of decisive touch or whatever to sort of get the lads there, sort of thing. So yeah, on recent form, it's not been too great, but the lads have been in it, sort of thing.
Correct us if I'm wrong, but you've got a joint top goal scorers, both with 7 goals, and the goals seem to be quite spread out among the lads going forward. So do you not really have like a main man up top who you look to get the goals out to create chances?
I think they brought in Mikel Mandron in the summer, and they looked for him. Obviously, he's former Sunderland anyway. But they looked to him to sort of get him within the goals. Now he started off fairly well, but in recent weeks he hasn't been. I don't think he's scored maybe since Christmas, something like that. But he's more
sounds like a Sunderland player.
So he's more sort of a hold-up player sort of thing. So he is, obviously, because of his stature and his size, he is very good at holding the ball up. But in recent weeks, it's been Aldi Finney that seemed to get among the goals. But he unfortunately had a fracture to his leg at Shrewsbury the other week, so he's out for a few weeks anyway. So it's not too good. But yeah, there's goals coming from all over the pitch anyway. But it's just sort of that, like I say, going back to that cutting edge in the final third again.
So with Mandron, he tend to play quite target man football. I think when you came to the stadium light, I think he might have played 4-5-1. Is that the formation he's playing?
The formation they usually play in tends to be 4-3-3. Now, obviously, you will know, you'll be aware of the left-sided sort of partnership of Pickering and Kirk on the left side. Now, that's still sort of the main sort of target going through the game. But last night, in fact, they actually adapted and they changed to the 4-4-2. So they actually went up front last night with Mandron and Chris Porter. So he's 37, I think, 37, wow. Something like that. So they went with him last night. He actually got among the goals last night. He bagged one, but again, he could have had 2-3 easily. So again, it's one of the things. But yeah, Mandron, they sort of use him as a hold-up striker, and he's been the out and out sort of thing all season.
Yeah, I mean, you've mentioned you got like a lack of cutting edge going forward. What are your other main weaknesses as a side, or is that the only real thing you would point out?
Sort of weaknesses, the one I could say at the minute is sort of the right fullback position. In terms of that, obviously they lost Perry and G last month to Cardiff. Since they lost him, well, before that actually, he had these 6-game ban for the spit incident at Cheltenham, sort of thing in the FA Cup. So they'd done well without him because they had Luke Cofford, who was sort of among the centre halves and playing along the back. Anyway, so that was sort of securing that. They brought in Billy Jones as a replacement, who started at Crewe, and brought him in on loan from Rotherham. But he's actually just had to go back because he's got a knee issue there, so he's had to go back. So in recent weeks, they've been playing Travis Johnson at right back, who's through the academy ranks of Crewe, but he hasn't had that much first team football sort of thing. He's still not up to the level. So last night they actually played Donovan Daniels at right back. So yeah, that's the sort of the main side is obviously the right fullback position, and obviously if you're attacking, it's the left wing for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, probably someone who I was saying earlier on, he's our best player by far, and he's Aidan McGeady. So that's going to be a real pressure point in the game where all he really needs to do is just get on the ball in the game. And I think he's actually now, this could be wrong, but I actually think he's up there in the top 2 assists in the league. He might even be number 1 by now. And he didn't play till December. So I think that just proves how good he is, really. So if you're saying that, yeah, you've got a right back who maybe isn't the most solid, then that can be a real area for us to exploit them with Aidan McGeady.
Yep, it will be. And like I said, I think obviously the gaffer at Crewe will be aware of that. So I think he'll be dependent as well. They brought in Nathan Wood from Middlesbrough, who has actually said, obviously, because it's Sunderland on Saturday, he's pumped for the game, whether he gets selected or not. I think he's only 19. So they brought him in, but again, he's adapting to the style of League One and professional sort of men's football, league football. Yeah. So and he's been playing the right side of the defence. So that right hand side is probably Crewe's weakest at the minute. So yeah, you might have some enjoyment down that right side. Well, left side for you guys.
Yeah, I can see Aidan McGeady having a field day. Like, he gets in the ball on the left hand side, and I mean, last night it was pretty much the first time he got on the ball, really, and he ended up swinging the ball in, perfect cross, and we actually got a goal, and that's all you really need to do. I mean, how confident are you going into the game? Can you see yourselves getting a result?
I can. It's a tough one because when we played you earlier in the season, obviously that was, I think so far this season, from the game that we played against you in the previous fixture, I think you are the best sort of team that they came up against in terms of with possession. Well, again, when we played you, it was sort of joint possession, even possession, a fair share of possession, but going sort of with shots on goal and stuff. Yeah. With you guys, you're more clinical. But I can see him sort of, if anything, if Crewe can finish the chances, because they're creating chances all over the pitch. Now, if they can finish them, then I can see it being rubbish. Yeah, I can see it sort of a high scoring, maybe 2-2 draw or something like that. Wow. But otherwise, I do think Sunderland will edge it. I don't know what score, but I think Sunderland will edge it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you for a score prediction. Then can you stick it out? I mean, we've actually kept 2 clean sheets recently against real bogey teams who seem to always get one over us in Burton and Fleetwood. So defensively, I'm quite confident at the moment, even though we are playing a back three of what's essentially a right back, someone who spent most of his career as an attacking midfielder, and another right back on loan from Wolves. Yeah, no, I think I'll give you a score prediction. I think for me, if you dominate that left hand side of yours and our right hand side, I think I can see I'd say 2-0 Sunderland. I don't want to say that. I want to see Crewe get a result of some sort, but I can see a 2-0 Sunderland. Okay. I think I'm going to predict 2-0 myself. I just think defensively we look so solid at the moment with this weird kind of partnership that we've got of players just playing completely in an entire out position, but it seems really working. But Rhys, thanks for coming on. I think we'll leave it there.
No problem. That's fine, mate. Like I said, good luck for the rest of the season, whether you get playoffs. I know it's quite tight up there anyway, isn't it? So there's still, I think, even within the sort of from 4th to sort of, well, even from 1st in the league, but up to 12th, you can all still get in the playoff sort of places, and there's still a fair few games to go yet. So anyway, good luck for the rest of the season. But hopefully we might even see here if Crewe can push and sort of.
Oh, I don't know about
that. I don't think they will, but no, I think it's mid-table for Crewe. But good luck to Sunderland anyway.
No, likewise, mate.
So clearly Crewe are struggling going forward to have that cutting edge, as Rhys said, with how good our defence is. That should hopefully play in our hands. You know, we're off the back of 2 clean sheets now, and to hear that we're playing against a side that is struggling to have cutting edge in the final third, that's music to my ears, to be honest with you. Another thing that was music to my ears is that we're having problems, in particular on the right side of defence. We touched on it when I was joined by Rhys, but considering how Aidan McGeady seems to be in red hot form and only really needs that one kind of spot in the game where he's just got a second on the ball to do something to create a really good chance, and with the form that White's in, and even O'Brien's starting to chip in with a couple of goals now, that could be a real pressure point of the game and a real area that we look to exploit, Crewe, and it just adds to the likelihood, I think, that we're going to get another result here with how great our form's been. We've actually beaten 2 bogey teams. The only recent time we've played Crewe, of course, was earlier in the season, and we beat them 1-0. I'm going into this game with entirely confident. There's absolutely nothing for me to not be confident about, and I think a really important thing about the game against Crewe is that it's followed up by another 2 games you'd expect us to win, regardless of where Crewe are on the table. I believe they were around about 11th. You'd go into this game expecting us to win, and I think if we do that, we then got Swindon and Rochdale, another 2 games you'd expect us to win. So this game again, it's another facilitator, which is that the last 2 games have been, kickstart some momentum. We've got some momentum now. We need to carry it forward. And I think Crewe could be the team to do that. As I see, I back us to win all the way. I really, really do. As for team news, all goalkeepers are available to play. I believe you go with Lee Burge. Why on earth change it? Burge didn't really have anything to do against Fleetwood. He pretty much had the night off. Defensively, Flanagan and Wright aren't expected to come back, so I'm expecting him to stick with the same back three, which has worked surprisingly well. I think all three of them are really fitting into the role. Dion Sanderson in particular has really stepped up, being a great leader. The other two are just brick walls on the other side. Into the midfield, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some rotation. Out on the right hand side, of course, Gooch, he might stick with them, but of course we've got other players who can come in there. My first instinct would have been Luke O'Neill and Conor McLaughlin, but what's to say that Jones or Diamond might not even be trialled out. I think Jones is the more likely of the two, but again, he might change it, he might not, but Gooch is available as well as the others. Coming into the centre of midfield, Max Power's been controlling games really well recently. I would fully expect him to play. As for Grant Ledbetter, didn't have the best game, but didn't have the worst game against Fleetwood. I think he had I gave him a 6 out of 10 when I was asked for his rating. And with his age, I wouldn't be surprised if he did look to rotate that. Winchester seems to be available along with Scowen. Is there not something we can do just to rotate because of his age? You don't want him to play too much and end up getting injured, especially because he can be a really important player for us, especially towards the end of games. And maybe that's a potential option that he comes on towards the end of a game. But we go with Winchester or Scowen. Someone hasn't had as many minutes as Ledbetter recently, just to protect players really, but as well to keep players involved, because you don't want to have players just left out the game for ages. Both McFadden and Vogtens are available. I think Vogtens' performance against Burton was better than McFadden's against Fleetwood, and that's why I would go with Vogtens. However, Johnson might look to go with McFadden. You just don't know. It's hard to predict these things. It's one or the other. Neither of them have been particularly brilliant in their time at Sunderland. Hopefully one of them can keep going. However, an interesting point I heard was that obviously Jake Vogtens being cup tied, Callum McFadden would be the only option for the final at Wembley. So is Johnson looking to play McFadden just to build his confidence? And that's a fair point. If he gets a good run in the team, he might actually pick up some form in time for Wembley, because he's going to be the only available option, with Hume still being out as well, unless you then go Billy Wright and then put Dion Sanderson at left back, which I can't see him doing, because Sanderson seems to be invaluable at centre back, to be honest. And then into the final third, I fully expect McGee to get another start along with White. Their two partnership just seems to be really growing week to week. I know White had a quiet game against Fleetwood, but then again, that happens all the time. O'Brien, I think, does quite well with him as well, because he does some of the work that McGee and White might not be prone to doing. He relieves a lot of the responsibility in terms of dropping deeper and drop out wide and working hard and getting the ball back and getting the ball moving up the field. Alternatively, Diamond or Jones again could come in. Then we've got plenty of options, and the only players who are expected to miss this game, I believe, are Bailey Wright, Jordan Willis, of course, and Tom Flanagan. So we've got plenty of options for rotation for the first time in quite a while. Even Ross Stewart is expected to be back, although Johnson did say in an interview on SAFC.com that he's not rushing to bring him back with how great form White's in, which I guess really does make sense. I will stick with my 2-0 prediction. I think this is another one of those. I think it'll be a fairly routine win. Turn up, get the job done, come home, focus on the next game without much problems. I'm tempted to say, however, this is Sunderland, but I really don't see it going that way. I really do think that we're going to go into this game and pick up all 3 points and just dispatch them, is what I would use. Just turn up, get the job done and go. If you have enjoyed the preview, please do give it a like. Of course, we'll be doing this for every single game now. And please subscribe to SAFC Fan TV if you haven't already. That always does mean a lot to us. The subscriptions have been going absolutely crazy recently. Big thank you to everyone else subscribed. If you haven't, only take a second, just hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up icon if you haven't already. Hopefully as well, this is another game that we pick up points, and we hopefully it's another game where we pick up points, we build momentum going into the final and going into the last stretch of the season, which will come after that. As I say, predicting a 2-0 win. Thank you to everyone who has watched. Make sure you join us on Saturday for the live watch along of the game. I'll see you then. If not, I'll see you another time. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.